Hi, welcome to this series on learning Excel. I'm going to be basing this series on Excel 2016 for no better reason than that's kind of what's readily available to me. So if you're using some different version, whether it's slightly earlier or slightly later, pretty much most of what I say I hope will apply to that version as well. I'm not going to be going to some of the more abstract extremes where the different versions would have significant differences. But be warned, if you're using a different version than 2016, it's just possible that something I say won't quite apply to your version. I'm also going to be basing what I say on the book, which is Excel 2016 Bible. It's comprehensive, it covers quite a large area, but because it's comprehensive, sometimes it's perhaps a little bit more solid, takes some getting into, which is why I think the videos may help. But it also means that I'm free to kind of pick and choose, and I won't cover everything. If I think I can just leave it for the book to say, then I'll do that. The book can take up the slack. So I'll cover the more complex and maybe the more interesting parts as well. So I do recommend that you get yourself a copy of that book. But if you are not comfortable learning from videos alone or from fairly solid books, there are plenty of other good books out there that will take you step by step through perhaps certainly more basic Excel or specific areas of Excel, like pivot tables, data modeling, and using Visual Basic for applications. So I hope you find this series useful, and obviously if you've got any comments, let me know. Having looked at some of the basics of the terms that we're going to use within the spreadsheet, I want to look at customizing a quick access toolbar. I mentioned it in passing in the last video that I've got these icons at the top, and I've probably got icons on there that you haven't got. So we're going to have a look at how you both add and remove these quick access icons. You will find the information for this on page 17 and subsequent pages in the book. So in order to modify this quick access toolbar, you click on this little arrow here and select more commands, and that will give you this dialog. It's the technical term for these kind of pop-up windows as a dialog. We're already on the quick access toolbar, which is what we need. What I'm going to do, in fact, is I'm going to remove these first of all. So I'll show you how to, if you like, remove stuff that you don't want, and then I'm going to add them back in. But they could obviously be something completely different. So this is really just a demo. So there's the subscript, that's this thing here. So to remove it, you simply click on the remove button and it takes it away. I'll remove the superscript and I'll remove that unneeded separator. So if I click on OK now, you should see that these icons simply disappear. And there they are, they're gone. So the first thing is that you can remove anything you don't particularly want. And that includes anything you've added. So adding things is not going to hurt. You can add it, try it. If you don't like it, you can remove it again. I'm now going to add them back in, but I'll have a look at a different way of getting to the same dialog. Now, you probably will want to work out for any particular action, you'll want to work out what is the best way of doing it and stick to it. So I'm just showing you a second way for demonstration purposes. You work out which way you prefer, stick with it. As with a lot of Microsoft products, you usually find there's 3, 4, even more ways of doing the same thing. So I'm just showing you 2. And the alternative way is you click on the File tab, and you'll see down here, down on the bottom left, you have Options. So you click on Options, and you get basically the same dialog. Now it starts in a different place, so you'd have to click on this Quick Access Toolbar, and we're back where we started. So we're going to add back in those superscript and subscript, and you'll notice that subscript is there and superscript is there. Okay, but if it wasn't there, you can simply highlight this thing and go to all commands, and you will get a much bigger list. You can actually see that little thumb has reduced, and you get all the possible things that you can add in. And in fact, we've gone down here, so there's the subscript and there's the superscript. So I'm going to add them back in. So there's the subscript and then the superscript. I'll add that back in. Now notice it's added them at the end. So if I now simply OK that, it will add up, come at the end. Well, I quite like them after the undo and redo. So I'm going to go into subscript and I'm going to move it up by clicking on this little move up arrow. So click, 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 and it's up where it was before. Do the same for superscript. And I'd also like to keep him separate like they would, like these two are, with a sort of a little separator afterwards as well. So if I go right up to the top, you'll find there's a separator option there, and I can add that as well. And there, I'm back the way I started. So if I OK that, they're back in. Let me show you another thing that I'll add, which is slightly more complicated, just to show that you can get complex things on here. We'll go back into more commands. Again, what I want to show you is here on the popular commands, so you don't have to go to the bigger list. So we'll add that on, and I'll just leave it at the end. So I'll OK that, and you'll see that it adds this box, this whole box. And if I want to change the text of one particular thing, I can do that using the box. Now I don't need that box because it's here anyway, and it's usually, that's the default position. So I'll go in and I'll remove that. So there it is, and we'll remove it, and it's gone. So playing around with this quick access bar is as simple as that. Now what I recommend is that you don't play around with it. You don't simply add stuff in just to see what it looks like. If you find there's something you're doing fairly regularly, then that's a key that you should find the icon and put it up here in the quick access, so that instead of having to go hunting around, especially if it's something in one of these other areas, then you can get to it easily. Now while we're at it, there's something else that we can do through that option, quick access toolbar options. Well, it's not there, it's in the customize ribbon. If I go into customize ribbon on the right, you'll see that there's an entry for each of the tabs. Now this one is something extra, but home, insert, let's get rid of the insert, page layout, and so on. So I'm going to remove one of them, which is developer. Okay, and you remove it simply by unticking it. So if I OK that, you should see that developer here will disappear. Okay, now that's probably how your spreadsheet will look by default, because developer is one that isn't selected by default. So obviously the reverse of that is true. If you want to add developer in, and it may not be a bad idea to do that, we simply go down to the more commands, customize ribbon, look here, and in fact in your case, if I'm right, the developer will be unticked. You tick it and OK, and it's added back in. So similar idea to these quick access toolbars. Now there's quite a lot of other things in that early chapter in the book. It really talks you around the different dialog boxes, not just the one that we looked at there, but a few others and what you do. It talks about various other things that you will see. So I would suggest that you kind of read through that and digest it up to about page 22, and then we will start looking on the next spreadsheet at creating our Excel workbook. So I hope you found that helpful, and see you next time.